Hey, welcome to Miracles in Minutes. One of the common things that all human beings need to deal with somehow or other is stress. Almost everybody deals with a lot of stress, and in the modern world, stress seems to be something that happens more and more. In the spiritual world, which I've spent a lot of time in studying the Course of Miracles, studying the Way of Mastery, I'm a trained yoga teacher. I've been trained in Reiki, lots and lots of things like this. One of the biggest issues that people deal with is how to deal with stress. They meditate, they do yoga, they do spiritual practices of many, many kinds. But then I thought, who is the person that I know in my life who handles stress better than anybody I know? And I thought, well, it's my dad, my 94-year-old dad. His name's Charles. And I thought, I'll ask him. Now, this is a guy who's an engineer and a boat builder, one of the most decent human beings I've ever met, and a guy who is masterful around stress, but I wouldn't call him a guy who's interested in spirituality in terms of studying things and stuff like that. So I thought it'd be interesting to see what he says. So I asked my dad, I go, Dad, what's your idea for dealing with stress? So he pauses for a minute and another minute. And then he goes, yeah, I really don't know what you're talking about. He says, as soon as I notice that there's a problem or an issue with something, I just set about to do the most practical thing to help fix it or to help with the situation that I can think of, and then no more stress. And I thought, this is one of the best answers I've ever heard to this. And it's not the type of thing you hear in spiritual circles generally. It's not the type of thing I've ever heard in all of the things that I've been exposed to in the world. And yet, when you do it, it's fantastically successful. So from my guru, my dad, David Schock, when it comes to stress, this is the main thing I teach now when it comes to spiritual circles. Meditation's great. Yoga's great. All of these things are great. But try this. When you have a problem, immediately start doing what you think is the most practical thing that you can to help solve the problem in the real world. Dealing with it in a practical sense, doing something constructive, something useful. And it's not, I think, about solving the problem. It's about the fact that you're doing something and you're working in the direction of it. You're doing the best you can based on what you know and what your abilities are and all those things. So thank you, Dad, for a brilliant teaching, only one of many I've received from you. And I love you, Dad. Thanks for listening, everybody.